I've always kind of picked things up or collected things. I think part of that also is my grandfather picked things up and collected things. You know, I've picked up bullet casings found on the street, hardware, broken car glass, you know, whatever I would find on my dog walks. I've just always been really struck by kind of like the phenomena that will just like exist in the world, how charged materials can be and how much significance materials can carry with them. That's a lot more powerful and a lot more interesting than something I think I could just make. Bringing those materials to the sculptures feels kind of like imbuing the sculpture with that significance. So like a lot of the sculptures have pig hair in them. I think pigs are a really excellent example of the violence that humans will enact on something they view as less than or other than them. Since about 2020, my work has been looking into pre-Columbian serpent mythologies from Latin America, specifically Peru, which is where my family's from. And kind of looking at the way that these mythologies differ from other narratives around serpents. You know, Christianity, for example, the serpent is this evil temptress. It's a negative symbol. It's something that is evil. In Latin America and Central American mythologies, serpents are not human-centric, so they're not out to get humanity. They're not out to save humanity. One of the serpent mythologies that I'm really diving into is called the Amaru, which is coming out of Peru. Amaru is a Quechua word for serpent. They live in this like deep earth, deep water. These are uncolonizable spaces that, you know, humanity still has a difficult time exploring, and they are supposed to be these deities that are easily able to transgress the boundary between their realm and our realm. And so they come up and they like observe what's happening on the surface and sort of determine what's needed to right the balance. So whether it's something benign like rain or whether it's something extreme like an earthquake, they right the balance. So I've wanted to kind of explore that idea of the Amaru and make my own. Mine are, you know, kind of rising encrusted from this center earth, covered in all the things that we would bury, that have died, that are maybe precious, or maybe that are just like sifted down from human time and are sort of like collected in this center earth strata. There are moments where when we're tracing the artificial and we're tracing, you know, however we want to define the natural, that distinction breaks down. So like plastiglomerate is an example where, you know, molten sea plastic has fused with sea rock, and it's now so common that it's its own mineral classification. You know, there are just moments where this negotiation, this binary breaks down, and the earth is sort of starting to respond to our time. And so these pools are this sort of like, there are iPhones, there are artificial things, there are natural things, and they're sort of creating this quiet commons, you know? So we can either come to water here or we're gonna waste, you know, like, are we gonna do this work or are we gonna cease to exist? With the Amaru and the pool, it's almost like the pool is perhaps at the center of the earth, liminal space that the Amaru inhabits, and the mirror is perhaps this pool or this portal that brings us into the space of these pools over here, or being able to see the installation in the mirror is then that portal of like being able to see the world up above, or our space while in their space. It's that breakdown of the barrier, if that makes sense. The snake for me is a symbol of like the forked tongue, the, you know, dual language, dual culture, dual identity. I think there's a lot of pressure growing up, you know, to be one or the other, you know, like Latin American and an American, and inhabiting that like undefined, less able to be categorized space, I think is a lot more powerful and an interesting opportunity to upend these binaries that, you know, our, at least American society is based on around gender, race, animacy.